Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you're all well, and we are bringing you a review of these two awesome little tactical flashlights from Surefire. So if you haven't seen these before, these are the Stiletto and the Stiletto Pro. We've got the Stiletto there and the Stiletto Pro. I'm just going to be talking about the difference between these two. Application, we're going to go out in the dark and do a little bit of hunting around with the lights and just see what we can see with those, see how effective they are. And this is going to become part of a slightly larger comparison review of these wedge-shaped torches, because these flashlights are now becoming more and more popular. Most of the major companies have some form of wedge-shaped flashlight out on the market. I've already reviewed one from Olight. That was their torch with, it either could have a red laser and torch or the UV and torch. I reviewed the UV version and it was pretty cool. I actually used that at work for doing sealants and stuff. But the first flashlights that I actually saw in this wedge-shaped pattern were in fact these Surefires, which are a little bit tricky maybe to find in the UK, but if you're struggling to find Surefire kit in the UK, then you can try Edgar Brothers. That's where I managed to get these from. Great guys over at Edgar's. A lot of people think they're just a kind of wholesaler, which they do that. They also sell a lot of single items, so you know they've got no issue if you want to do a mail order on something from them, but they're the Surefire rep in the UK, so definitely worth contacting them. I'll leave a link down below. So I got one of each of these because I wanted to have a look and see what the differences were, and I'm super pleased I did because they're amazing little torches. So let's go through them one at a time and see what they're all about. This one is the Stiletto, so I'll show you up close. So that has a aluminium head to it, and it's got a polymer type body. Both the torches have a very similar form factor and similar button layout. They do feel slightly different, but the layout's pretty much the same. So you've got there your operating button, 1, 2, 3 for the 3 different modes. Very, very simple indeed. And that button next to it is a programming button, and it will also, if we hold it down for long enough, it normally takes a few seconds, but it will then get into a mode that does an emergency strobe. So that isn't a, that's not your tactical strobe, that's just an emergency lighting situation if you wanted to leave the torch up and signaling for someone, for example. Then it also has a button on the rear that you can see there, and that can be just hit with a finger and held on for your kind of standard tactical use, searching or whatever. If you want the tactical strobe option on the Stiletto, you can triple click the rear button, and you got that. Like I said, I very rarely use those. I just don't see the need. Some people advocate them, if they're doing some kind of CQB activity, running a pistol or, a short-barreled carbine or something. But you'd probably be running a secondary weapon light on that anyway. It has a USB charging port, as you can see, underneath that rubberized section, and then it also has a little green battery light which will change colors as your battery wears down, so that'll start telling you how much charge you've got in there. Now this programming button can be used to change the programming on your main button there and the tail cap there. If you hold that down, green button on, switches to blue, and you can hold the tail cap, release it, it will flash green. That's just changed the mode on your tail cap button. So now if you press this tail cap, it will actually stay on with one press and another press to switch it back off again. If you wanted to change that back so it only comes on whilst depressed, again, we hold that down, wait for it to change blue, hold the tail cap, release, it flashes green again, and now it will only stay on as I touch the tail cap. So that's kind of more of a tactical tail cap. You know, it's only going to stay on while your finger or thumb is pressing down on it. So I actually prefer it in that mode, and if I want the torch to stay on, I can just hit the normal buttons. Now, the same mode changing can be done for this button. So if I hold that down and it turns green, wait for it to turn blue and press this button on here, the main button, that will actually reverse the way that the torch comes on. So if you want this to come on, at the moment it's low beam, medium beam, high beam. If I do that again, hold that down, wait for it to go blue, press this button, it flashes green. Now it should be high beam, medium beam, low beam. So if you were a tactical user, then you might want it to go straight to high beam, you know, so that's your tactical application, because you want to sort of be blinding people that you're talking to straight away. If you're a police officer, for example, and you're in a situation where you're a bit concerned, you want to be hitting people with as much light as possible so that they can't really make you out. It's kind of a bit discombobulating to them. They're a bit confused. The light's blinding them. You've got a tactical advantage over them, that kind of situation. If you're just a EDC user like me, and you don't want to be blinding yourself every time you put this on, because you might be using it to search around a room for something in a darkened garage or whatever, then you're going to want to go the other way. So I actually have it, again, press that down, hold it, wait for it, hold that button, and that should now go low, medium, high. So I prefer that when I turn it on at first, it's not going to be blinding people. And if I want to knock it up, I can just triple press the button. Now, what I really, really like about this is the simple function. You know, it's very simple to go through the modes because there's only 3. And then you've got, of course, that emergency strobe mode, which is just holding that down. The emergency strobe mode won't come on unless you hold that down for several seconds, which I also like, because I've had a few torches in the past that have an emergency strobe mode, and you're trying to sort of action the torch and maybe dial it up to medium or high, and then you end up going through these strobe modes as well, and it's like blinding you in your tent or wherever you are. The strobe mode really isn't useful because it's kicking out like, you know, 600 or 1,000 lumens, and it's flashing in your vision. That's completely ruining your night vision ability, and it's just generally unpleasant. So if I wanted to access an emergency strobe, I've got it there, but it's not something I'm going to sort of randomly discover by accident just through dialing through the buttons. And the other thing is, I've used torches that have got so many modes on them. I question who would need that many modes on the torch. And for me, I'm very happy with just being able to go low, medium, high. That's really all I need in a nice, convenient package. So this being polymer, it's nice and light at 2.8 ounces or 79 grams, and it is IPX7. It's rated to retain some level of water resistance. So our IPX7 rating means we can submerge this in up to 1 meter of water, and as long as we get it back out within 30 minutes, it should be fine. And I haven't done that. I'm not about to dump these in water for 30 minutes. But it's certainly been out in wet weather and I haven't experienced any problems whatsoever. We have a pocket clip on the rear. It's a very, very strong pocket clip, to be honest. It's really, really sturdy. It's got a coating on it, so it's pretty resilient to scratches and scuffs, and it affixes up there with 2 screws, and you've only got one option for how you're going to carry that. You know, it's going to sit on your belt with the the bulb in the upright position. That's your only option on there. You've got a bit of knurling on the sides to give you a bit of grip. And then lumen wise, we've got our low output at 5 lumens, and that's going to give you 30 hours of runtime. We've got our medium output at 250 lumens for 2 hours of runtime. We've got our high output at 650 lumens at 1.75 hours of runtime. So the distance this will throw to, presumably in max setting, is 78 meters. So this is going to do a good job for anyone who's into their serious EDC. You know, it's certainly robust, even though the body is polymer. I think we've all probably had experience with modern day polymers, and most of us haven't had any issues with them. I know I have. I use polymer on all kinds of kit, and it's often just as resilient as metal, sometimes even more so. So I've been running that. I'm super happy with it. I really like the simplicity of it. I like the form factor. When it sits in the pocket, you know, I don't have any issues with it at all. It's not the kind of rubbing up against my leg or creating any hot spots or anything like that. Very impressed indeed. Now we move on to the Pro version, the big daddy of the two. So what we first notice is it's got an aluminium body complete. So aluminium head, and the body is all aluminium, very nicely machined, as you can see. And then we've got the same pocket clip on the back, but this time we have 2 options for that pocket clip, because there's 2 screw holes there, so you could carry that bulb up or bulb down. I've just left it like that. It's plenty comfortable. But other than that, we've got the same operating procedure. We've got low, medium, high. We've got a tail switch straight into high. And of course, we've got that secondary program button. If we hold that down, we should see a strobe on this one as well. Yeah, there we go. There's our emergency strobe. But other than that, the same simplistic procedure. I actually prefer the button feel on this. You get a little bit more of a kind of clicky feel to the buttons. It just feels a bit more premium. And the one on the back especially, it's got a definite kind of click to it, and it's not as difficult to press in. Not that the standard Stiletto was particularly hard to press in. It's just this feels just a tiny bit more premium, a little bit more clicky. The Pro model is also IPX7 rated, so again, waterproof in up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. And this one is a little bit heavier, 4 ounces, 113 grams, but by no means, you know, unpleasantly heavy. It sits very nicely in the pocket, just the same as the Stiletto. It's got some knurling again down the sides. This one a little bit deeper, so probably a bit better grip on this. Really, really nicely machined. Although it gives you good grip, you know, it's not hard. It's not going to, it's not too sharp. It's not going to damage your clothes or anything like that. And again, you've got the same tail switch function, triple click for the tactical strobe, same USB, which is worth noting. They're not actually USB-Cs. They're the kind of mini USB ports that were out before the Cs. Doesn't make any difference to me. I've got charging cables of all sorts. They obviously come with a charging cable as well. On low output, we've got 25 lumens for 23.5 hours of runtime. Medium, 300 lumens, which will give us 1.5 hours runtime. And then high, 1000 lumens, giving us 1 hour of runtime. And this will throw to a distance of 142 meters. So we're going to take these out now. We're going to have a quick look how far they throw, what it looks like. They both use something that Surefire refer to as max vision beam performance, and that is to do with clarity of the lighting. You know, if you were searching an area and you're looking through things that are in high contrast, you know, looking through a car, for example, and it's got a load of debris down on the floor in the dark footwell, you want a torch that can throw a beam that allows you to see all that quite well, because if you're a police officer, you might be searching the car for contraband, and some torches throw a really, really harsh direct light, and it becomes almost impossible to tell what you're looking at. You know, you could see a human form in front of you, but if you're picking through debris on a car floor in a high contrast situation, you might not be able to see that very well. And apparently Surefire say these work really well. They've got this proprietary technology. I do not know how it works, but they are supposedly excellent for doing things like that. So they're really aiming these at the kind of law enforcement operator type market. Obviously, us EDC guys, that can be useful as well. The amount of times I've searched around on garage floors and not been able to see screws and washers and stuff that are directly in front of me, and I'm just scanning over them with some crummy pen light and I still can't see the things. So if that gives me any help in finding lost objects, I'm all ears. Very, very well made, as one would expect from Surefire. Of course, the other thing to note on the Surefire products, they come with a cast iron warranty. That's a reason that they cost a little bit more maybe, and I've certainly had Surefire replace stuff before. When I sent it off, it's been faulty. They've just sent it straight back, no questions asked, straight from the US to the UK. You know, they didn't even ask me what I'd done with it or anything like that. I simply sent it to them, filled out an online form, and they sent me a brand new item straight away.
From the other side, what I need to show you is my obligation. How much longer can you hide? You can try and push away from me. You kick and scream, you're begging please. But once you get a little taste of freedom, you'll wanna get up off your knees. Come over.
Price-wise, being Surefire, you know, these are not going to be cheap, but like I say, they're quality items. They're going to last you a lifetime if you look after them, and especially considering the robust warranty. So the Pro version in the US is $259 on their website, and the Stiletto, the basic model, is $149 on the Surefire website. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on Amazon cheaper. If I can, I'll throw up a couple of links down in the description. In the UK, on the Edgar's website, which again, I'll link down in the description, the Surefire Stiletto, £203, and the Stiletto Pro is £353. So we do pay a little bit of a higher rate in the UK, but of course these items have to be imported from the US. You're going to pay tax and stuff on that. So Edgar's have taken care of all that for you, and you can just buy direct from them. Believe me, it's a pain to import this stuff if you're trying to buy it direct from the US. They might not even sell it and send it. When it gets to customs, you know, they hold on to stuff like this for God knows how long. Sometimes you end up with bills for like £80, £100. And I would say it's probably worthwhile just buying it from the Edgar's website and avoiding all that headache. So the conclusion on these two, you know, we've taken a look how they perform. I think they're both great options. I think if you're just an EDC guy and you really like this form factor and you're looking for a torch that is super reliable, fits nice in the pocket, fits nice in the hand, and has that nice simple function that I really love, then the Stiletto is an excellent option for you. You know, it's nice and lightweight as well, and it does everything I need it to. If you are law enforcement or military and you need your 1000 lumens and you want something a little bit more rugged, then I would suggest you go the Pro version, because that is going to kick things up a notch in terms of lumen output. It's probably going to deal with bumps and scrapes a lot better, and it'll be worth you guys investing in that just for those reasons alone. You know, you're going to be dropping it in mud, tramping all over it. It might get run over by a military vehicle or something. This one is certainly going to be the more robust of the two options. So I think they both represent good purchases for the right market. There's obviously going to be guys out there, EDC guys, that are going, hey, I just want to have the Pro version. I like it. It's cool. It's better. And more power to you. You know, you're going to pay a little bit more for it, but it's nice to have nice things. I would be attracted to the Pro version just because I love this engineered metallic body. I think it's really, really nice. Thanks a lot, guys. These will come up again on a comparison I'm going to do with some other brands as well. So I'm waiting on stuff to come through from Nightcore, from Streamlight, and there may even be a couple of other brands entering this as well. So I'm going to do, each one will get its own review, and then at the end we'll do a sort of comparison of all of them and just go over, you know, what's better for you personally, you know, whether you be you know, a professional or someone who just likes flashlights, someone who uses them all the time or just an occasional user. There's going to be different flashlights that are appropriate for different user groups. So we can go through all that, kind of rate them a bit and see which ones come out tops. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Take care. I'll see you next time.